Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fast Lane Pod. We have a name.
What do you guys think? Please let us know. Let us know. What do you guys think?
About our name.
I'm proud. I'm proud that we have a name. I'm proud.
Yeah, I like the name. I actually like our name. I've got a few comments about the name, and they were
Okay.
very positive comments. Yeah, they were very
Okay.
positive
Nice.
comments.
Nice. Nice.
So, and there are people who didn't need to say they liked our name.
Okay.
So it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. But let's get into it. So here we are, another race weekend. Where are we racing this weekend?
Mexico.
Mexico City. La Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City.
Yeah. I didn't know I would like this. I don't know. I thought this week would be boring. But as you can see in my background, I'm excited, as you can see from the name as well. I'm happy. I mean, I slept well last night.
I see your backdrop, and yes, two Ferraris.
My boys, my boys. And I like Lando as well.
Yeah, so these are your boys.
So these are.
I was this close to wear another Ferrari jersey. This close. But instead, I brought out McLaren.
McLaren, fair
I brought out
enough.
an old McLaren. Yeah. I brought
Fair
out
enough.
McLaren from when Lewis won his first title.
So we're still in sync,
We're
just in
still in
different
sync,
eras. Different eras.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. I was watching the qualifying, and I was dreading another Max pole. I didn't want Max on the first two rows. Okay. Because Max is a beast from the starting line. His car starts well, he's always aggressive. And so I was quite worried. And as qualifying unfolded, I was like, Lando's showing pace, Piastri is not showing much pace. And I was hoping that Piastri's struggles would not reflect McLaren's actual pace. And so it was exciting to know that. I mean, when I saw Lando's lap, I was like, I was so sure that when Charles hit provisional pole, I was so sure that we have a Ferrari 1-2. And I thought Ferrari 1-2. I don't think so. Lando's got a point to prove here, and Lando just went and delivered.
Yeah.
He went and delivered.
That lap was it was awesome. It was awesome.
Truly.
I think it was well deserved. And I'm happy with Ferrari 2 and 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Haven't seen that this season. So I'm happy. Do you know? I mean, I think we still need to speak about this Piastri thing because I'm hearing conspiracies like McLaren or Zach has done something to Piastri's car. But I mean, it's worrying, right? Because you have the champion leader who in the last few races, I think he's qualified like out of the bottom three. So what's going on, especially because Lando is still right up there? I don't know, but it seems a bit strange. I don't know if there's been previous seasons where like something like this has happened, like the champion leader all of a sudden has had a drop in pace. They say they haven't changed the car. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
You raised a little brilliant points as usual. So I think it's pressure. I think that when you round the corner and you're going to the last quarter of the season, last few races of the season, and you're the championship leader, the pressure starts to build. And so you'll see it in football. You'll see a team 3 goals ahead, and then they get cocky, start pushing the ball around. And then the guys who are the team that's losing suddenly score 1-2. Suddenly then they equalize, and they almost suddenly go ahead to win the game. It's momentum. And don't forget that Lando's been here before. Last year, Lando was driver in the better car. Okay, and he couldn't close. He couldn't close out the season, right? And so I think Lando's got that experience. And sometimes experience is the best teacher. You can get the best sports psychologists. You can get the best motivational speakers. You can get everyone in your corner. But if you cannot tame the demons within you, then you find yourself in this circumstance. And I think it's not so much the car as Oscar's inexperience and Lando's experience. Lando's been here. So Lando's been on the grid longer. He's been on the grid longer, and he's got more experience. And he's been here before, where he could have closed out the championship, but he couldn't control his nerves, and he lost it at the death. And I think that's what's playing out here.
It's a good point. I don't know, and usually I'd agree because it makes sense, right? But the Oscar that we see is probably one of the most calm and collected drivers on the grid, right? He's like, he doesn't show emotion. Like, I can't read him. He's always very, he's never sad. He's never happy. If he wins, he loses. He has the same demeanor, right? So, I mean, I'd be surprised if it's pressure getting to him. And if it is, he has a very good way of hiding it from us. But it makes sense, right? In terms of he is not as experienced. And Lando has been there before, right? So
Lando's been there before.
He knows how to feel.
There's no substitute for experience, really.
Yeah.
If you've never walked that road, then how do you know what it feels like when the pressure's mounting? And you see it in various sports. You see it. You see the guy who's leading. Even in F1, you'll see the guy who's leading, who seems to have it on lock. And something happens, and he just bottles it.
And we saw it with Kimi Antonelli, right? At the beginning of the season, he was like the star rookie. I think we got to, I can't remember what race it was, that he invited like all his family and his class, right? He invited his class from secondary school or whatever. And from that race, I think the pressure got too much. And now in hindsight, he says, right, that the pressure got too much and he started dropping out at Q3 or Q1, which way around. But now, I mean, I think he's slowly learning and picking back up the pace. So yeah, pressure is real. The pressure is
very, very, very real. Very, very insanely real. I don't know how you need somebody in your head. But you know what I also remember about people get over this and they go on and excel. Kimi Raikkonen in his first season at McLaren, I can't remember the year now, but I remember he was close to winning his first race, and he was like 2 laps to go. He's in control. Schumacher's behind him, and this is in Schumacher's Ferrari heyday, right?
Okay.
Why does he bottle it on the last lap or second to last lap? The claim is that he slipped on some oil. But I think what happened was that the pressure just got to him and he bottled it. And it happens to the best of them. But Kimi went on to have a stellar career. Okay. So I think they eventually, I mean, the really great guys will get over it.
Yeah.
But it takes me to my next question for you. Okay. What do you think McLaren should do? Is that word, that dirty word, that dirty phrase, team orders. What do you think McLaren should do? So let's talk about, do you think they should impose team orders? What do you think? Or should we just talk about team orders generally and let's take it from there?
Yeah, I mean, we can start with McLaren, right? I think it's the question that everyone is asking, but it's probably the hardest question to answer, right?
Okay.
What should they do? It would make perfect sense. Okay, so look what I when I was watching the race, I think one of the Sky Sports what do you call them? Commentators? Pundits, yeah. So they said if Lando wins tomorrow and Piastri ends 5th or lower, Lando will lead the Drivers' Championship, right? So for me, in my mind, it would make the most sense to see what happens tomorrow. If Lando wins and Oscar doesn't improve, I think he's starting 7th, right? He qualified 8th. He started 7th because Sainz got a penalty.
Yeah. Last year's winner.
Exactly, last year's winner. And so he's starting 7th. If he isn't able to make up 2 places and get to 5th, then Lando will be the championship leader. If that happens, I think they should impose a priority and make Lando that priority for this season. I think it only makes sense, right? Prioritize him and at least know that you will have the championship winner. If they don't do that, then Max will clearly still be in the fight, and he's in the fight anyway, right? And then it's not so sure. It's not so sure. So it's a tough decision to make, but I think it's a fair decision to make. Remember when we spoke last week, right? And we were talking about Norris has paid his dues. I don't think anyone will blame McLaren for giving Lando priority. Will there be issues if they give Oscar priority? Yes. But right now, the truth is that Oscar is not performing. And it's sad, but it is what it is, right?
So let's frame this thing. You're McLaren. You have two drivers in the fight. You've got the guy who's the championship leader, albeit only by 14 points. But he's a leader because he's the one that's performed most consistently over the season. And he's now having a bad spell, a gray patch. And then you have your number two, the second driver, which is an unfortunate phrase to use, but the number two driver in the championship, who is seemingly the one on form right now. He's on form, but he's 14 points behind. It's a tough choice. Do we then prioritize the guy who is behind and allow him to overtake the guy who's leading the championship? With all the issues we know that's going to cause issues. It is not going to go down well. Okay? Or do we tell the guy who is in form to hold position and support the guy who's not in form, but who is... I wouldn't want to be Zach Brown today. I wouldn't want to be McLaren's
it's a tough
I wouldn't want to be
decision.
them.
But you know the thing, as you said that, right? You think about it. If you get the number two driver, I mean, if you get Lando to support Piastri, you have no guarantees, right, that Piastri will do any better.
I agree.
If you do it the other way around, you have more assurance, because I was about to check the lineup for tomorrow, right? So I know right after Hamilton in third place, we've got George Russell in fourth, and then we have Max, and then we have someone who's in sixth place, and then we've got Kimi Antonelli and then Piastri. If you sacrifice Piastri tomorrow to cause, what can he do to hold up Verstappen, at least, to hold up Verstappen and Russell? Because if you look at it, to me, I mean, and now I'm moving into the predictions. I don't want to move into the predictions yet. But if we can sacrifice Piastri tomorrow to support Lando in staying first, it's a tough decision, but it's a decision that could help you win the Drivers' Championship. Absolutely.
And it makes sense to use Oscar, despite the fact that Oscar is starting directly behind Max, right?
He's in between him and Max is Antonelli.
So Max starts in fifth place.
Yeah.
And Oscar starts in seventh place. So Kimi is right beside Max. And Oscar's the driver starting directly behind him. And so you could say to Oscar, you have one priority only. Get ahead of Max and disrupt his race. Okay. Or given what happens during the first round of pit stops, we can then decide, if Max stops, if Max is ahead of Oscar, if Oscar can somehow get ahead of Kimi, so you have a case where it's Max and Oscar, do we cover off, if Max peels into the pits, do we cover him off by not pitting Oscar? Or do we go for the undercut? So do we try and anticipate when Max is likely to pit and then pit Oscar first for the undercut? Or do we wait for Max to pit and then either we use Oscar to block him or we then try and go for the overcut with Oscar? So there are possibilities, but it all depends on where Kimi and first of all, depends on how the start pans out and where Kimi ends up. But you have a point. And McLaren will have a hangover from again watching in 2007 it is watching Lewis and Fernando Alonso lose the title by 1 point.
Tell us about that.
To Kimi Raikkonen.
Tell us about that. What happened?
So Alonso had changed teams from Renault. He was two-time world champion. I believe he was reigning world champion at that time. So he comes into into McLaren, believing that he's a priority driver. I'm the number one driver. I should have number one driver. Especially because beside him is a rookie. He's got this guy, this Lewis Hamilton guy, who's a rookie, who's fast, very well rated, very highly rated by all accounts. But he's a rookie. Come on, I am two-time world champion.
Yeah,
I should have a team's backing. But McLaren under Ron Dennis and they still have the warrior ethos where we race. We're racers first and foremost. We rely on team orders as a last resort. As opposed to Ferrari at that time, who were built around Michael Schumacher, who would prioritize Michael even when there was no need to do so. And I remember Austria Gate where Rubens Barrichello was going to win the race. He'd led the race from the first lap, and it was early in the season. There was no real reason to impose team orders. So they asked Rubens to pull over for Michael. And Rubens absolutely decides to embarrass the team. He gets to the final straight
and hits
the brakes at the finish line and lets Michael
awesome. It was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah. And he was making a point. He was making a point to the team. There's no reason to do this. We're 1 and 2. Michael would have lost maybe 5 points. It's early in the season. Let me get my win. If you need me to play the team game, we can do this towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Why now? And the fallout from that was they were booed on the podium, and F1 banned team orders for the next few years and go. And so McLaren were like, we don't do that. And then coupled with the fact that Lewis was genuinely fast in his first season. He was genuinely fast. Okay, so he wasn't it wasn't the rookie in the Kimi Antonelli mold where he's there, he's not consistent. You can actually, you can prioritize Russell. You can make a case for prioritizing Russell because he's a lot more consistent.
Yeah, of course.
But you had Lewis and Fernando who were going head to head. So they let them race. And there were a few clashes on track, off track, with the net result that come the final day of the season, both drivers have a chance to win, but there's a driver with an outside chance, and that's a guy called Kimi. Okay? And Kimi wasn't even the fastest driver on that day. His teammate, Massa, was actually faster. And the team just says to Massa, pull over and let Kimi win this.
Yeah.
Kimi wins the race and the title by 1 point. 1 point. And it goes to show you, and that's what other teams will point at. That's what Red Bull will point at and say, if we try and we're here to win. We're here to win both titles. And we'll be failing our investors, we'll be failing the sport, failing our fans, failing as a team if we don't take the maximum results. And that includes imposing team orders where possible. And so I agree with you that team orders should be imposed. And it's about this time that you impose them. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just tough because you don't have a clear number one. If Lando was ahead by 30 points, okay, or if Lando was ahead by this point, and Oscar was having a bad patch, by all means, you have every reason to say, listen, Oscar, this guy is ahead of you already. He's one ahead by 14 points, and you're not at your best at the moment. We're going to use you to block. We're going to use you as a number 2 driver, but you have to invert their position. So I think you're going to say something.
No, go ahead. Just complete your thought.
So I think I'm going to agree with you here, but I think it boils down to this race result. If
Yeah.
I were Lando, I would do my best to win this race.
Yeah.
If I can win this race, but I'd have had a word in Zach's ear. I say, listen, and I don't believe that. I would like to believe that somebody's told Lando in his ears quietly, win this race,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have another conversation if you win this race.
Yeah.
And it's made it easier for Lando. Oscar's made it easier for Lando by qualifying where he qualified, right?
Yeah.
He's got to at least beat two other drivers.
There-
And who are the two drivers you're going to beat? You know, because
It's no way. I mean, I think there's no way we see Oscar winning this Grand Prix unless, we have DNFs flying, right?
yeah,
But in the normal course of things, the best he can do is try and get him points. But even that's ambitious, right? Because of the drivers ahead of him. And but before we touch on that, one thing I was going to say is, I think another reason why it's so difficult for someone like Zach is because you have who, in theory, could be your number one driver, but that number one driver doesn't always line up with the team's future driver, right? So I think it's clear that McLaren, for example, see Oscar as a future championship driver, right? And whether they invest in him now as number one driver, I think is what they're struggling with. But I think down the line, definitely, I think he will win championships, right? And I think it's the same you have at Mercedes as well, for example. You have Kimi, who, to be honest, is an awesome driver, especially for his rookie year. He's doing quite well. And Mercedes definitely see him as the future, right? He's the person that they want to train and invest in. But then you have Russell, who should be the number one driver now, right? So I think that's kind of what McLaren are struggling with, because if they make Lando the number one driver, Piastri might be unsettled and start to look elsewhere, whereas that he is really the future of McLaren. I don't know. I don't see Lando as someone that will win, more than, I don't know. I feel bad saying this, but I don't see him winning more than one championship, right? I think his best chances are now, and if he wins it now, really good for him. But I don't expect next season we're going to come in and see amazing results from him. Whereas with Piastri, I think that could be the case.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think I agree with you on so many points. I don't like when I agree with you this much. I'm contrarian by nature. But I can't fault your logic. The only thing is, I see your prediction and I raise you a safety car. So I see your prediction about how you're not seeing Oscar winning this one. And I raise you an untimely safety car. I raise you.
Let's just
Somebody
talk
has
about
a crash. Yeah, but
Let's talk about it.
I think based on their form this season, I think Oscar is the faster driver on his day. And I think the team can see that Oscar is the faster driver.
Yeah.
I mean, they can see all the data.
Yeah,
They have all the
of course.
telemetry. They can see all the data.
Yeah.
And I think whatever's going on with Oscar right now, you could also put that down to, I mean, he's a younger driver. He's much less experienced.
I was going to say Omodelunshi.
As we said, yeah. There's the child in him. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And Lando was here last season, in fairness. So, in Lewis Hamilton's rookie season, he could have actually won the championship. He made an error in China. Coming into the pits, he crashed in pit lane in China from the lead of the race or something. It was a race that he could have won. But even if he had only scored a third place in that race, okay, it would have changed the complexion of the season for him. And I think he would almost certainly have won that. I mean, if he lost it by a couple of points, then he almost certainly have won the championship that season because it had banked another 12 points or something. And so what was a 1 or 2 point deficit could very well have been an 8-point swing in his favor, and he would have won the championship. And so I think when you look at those circumstances, those events, you can see how a single error can change your season. I think Oscar's having that Shanghai moment that Lewis had, That China moment where you make one mistake too many, one costly mistake.
Yeah.
In is it 2020 when Lewis lost the championship to Max? I always point to, I think it was Azerbaijan, where there was a restart and he went straight on. He forgot to adjust his brakes, the brake balance of a car. And there's a restart. He was trying to overtake, I believe it was Charles or Max was trying to overtake, and he went straight. And rather than settle for a second or third place, he scored no points. And I always say, to me, that was the race that lost Lewis the championship. More than what happened in Abu Dhabi. So you cover your own end, right?
Yeah.
You eliminate your own mistakes and you leave what is fate to fate. That was, for me, Lewis's error. Lewis had to own that error. Because, look, if he didn't go for that overtake, and that's a stupid thing for me to say, it's not fair to say, racers race, right? But if he went for the overtake and didn't get it because he didn't make the error was the brake balance that he didn't adjust.
Okay.
If he adjusted the brake balance or he didn't go for that overtake and he settled for a safe second or third place, all right, he'd be world champion, right? Because going to the last race of the season, it wouldn't be so close. So these are things that life turns on these small factors. And so I say, it'd be nice if Oscar gets that. If Oscar doesn't get that win, then by all means, even if then they can push it to next weekend and say, okay, the best we can get this weekend, this race weekend, is let Lando do his best to win, and let's see how Oscar finishes the race. Now, we'll push it one more weekend. The best we can hope for this weekend, right, is for Lando to win.
Yeah.
And we have no control over anybody else. So let's have Lando win. Lando, you better win this race. Fight here, Kumagwami. Pull your ears and listen. All right? Okay.
We are talking to you, Lando Norris
Lando,
of the United Kingdom.
Lando Norris.
You made an interesting point. You said something about their races, right? But that if Lewis Hamilton in 2020 didn't try the overtake that he did, where was it? Baku? Or
I think it was Baku. Yeah, I think it was Baku.
Yeah. If he didn't, then things would have turned out differently, right? And I'm reading a quote from Lewis Hamilton from the sprint yesterday, and he says, "I don't have anything to lose, but he does, but Lando does." And basically, the general notion has been that you have two Ferraris behind a potential driver's champion with nothing to lose, right? And so that first corner, what happens? And I think that really brings us to the predictions, right? For today. That's Carnage. What we want to see, right? We want to see races. We don't want anyone playing it safe. And it's nice because you've got Max, who is an aggressive driver, who is down in fifth. So he needs to use the corner to do everything he can to make up one or two places at least. And then you've got Ferraris. Hamilton says he's in a really good position. And if you look at the grid, he kind of is, right? Because he's got clean air in front of him in that third place position. You've got Leclerc, who's on the inside. And then you've got Russell. Now, the thing I love about Russell's position is he's just ahead of Verstappen. And I love Russell and Verstappen on a good day when they're racing. I think there's one thing that George knows how to do, like Leclerc actually, is to keep someone behind him, is to defend. And I am
George. Sorry.
No, say that again. Say that. Say what you're going to say.
George does not like Max.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. So I am hoping that when we say carnage, we will see that carnage between fourth and fifth place, right? And that will free up the Ferraris to focus on the one guy in front of him. And I think the Ferraris will play fair between themselves. I think they will just focus on Lando, and whoever has the better chance of getting Lando, they will let them get him. So I'm hoping that between Max and between George, there will be some disruption. And that will hold up Max, right, from trying to disturb the first three contenders.
And I think Kimi starts right behind George.
No, he starts right behind Max and right behind.
No, he starts beside Max, behind George.
Yeah, exactly.
Here. So beside Max, behind George.
Yeah.
I think they're having a meeting, right? I think George and Max and Kimi are having a meeting. I'm going to go left, you go right. Cover that guy. And I think for George, George will prioritize just ending up in front of Max. It's going to be like, whatever happens, this kid is not end up in front of me, you know, and, you know, almost to the point where I don't care whatever happens. And don't forget that.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I agree.
And I don't forget that on that grid, in the first 6, in the first 8, only Lewis and Max have won the race before. Carlos Sainz, last year's winner, is not in. He's
Leclerc.
Max is
Leclerc has actually won twice. I think he's won twice.
This race?
Mexico.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hold on. Are you
Let me check. Let's check.
I love the internet. You can fact check everything.
Honestly, it's great. Chat GPT makes it easier.
Yeah. Oh, I love chat. I love chat. That's my personal assistant right there. If I remember correctly,
I feel like he won in 2019 and in one other year.
Let me just check.
No. Finished position.
No, let me just
No.
see.
I think
I don't think he's ever won it. I don't think he's ever won
it. He hasn't.
He's never
2019 won. He was P4. Yeah, so
I think Lewis has won it twice.
Okay.
I think Lewis has won it twice. Max has won it 4 times.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I'm just going to check now. Let me check. Okay, I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
Nico 24 the race came back to the grid in 2015, so 10 years ago. In 10 races, there's been Max has won 5 times. Lewis has won twice, 2016 and 2019.
Okay.
Max has won every other time, and then so it's been Rosberg, Lewis, Max, and Carlos Sainz in the last 10 years. Okay. Yeah. So, which changes things. So I think for everybody here, for most people on the grid, this is their first chance to win it.
Yeah.
It's their first chance to win it. I honestly don't. One thing I must say is I do not want Max to win this championship.
I do not want Max to win this one. Why is that? Is that you're generally not a Max fan, or
I'm not a Max fan. I also the way he took that title in 2020, or is it 2021, continues to leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay.
You know, and so I know, and then I find Max fans insufferable, so I don't.
Okay. So we don't
I try
want
to be
Max
objective. I don't want Max to win this season. I'd like one of the
Max to win. I don't want Max to win either, so we're aligned on that.
And between the Ferraris, I'm agnostic. I don't care. I'm sorry, between the McLarens, I don't care.
Okay, just one of them. Okay, I'd prefer Lando. I think we're clear.
I wonder why. Please surprise me.
Just let's not go into that right now. So, just in terms of predictions for tomorrow, tell us your top 5. Where do you think people are ending, or what do you think is happening? What do you think is happening in the top 5?
I think Charles and Lando struggle. They tangle at the beginning.
Okay.
I think for me, my pick for the race win is Lando.
Okay.
I think Lando wins this race. I think Lewis comes in second. I don't know about Charles in third. And I say that because I think something goes on.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to jinx Charles, but I think I'd say Lando and so I call it as Lando and Lewis. I'm not sure about Charles. What do you think?
Okay. Sorry, and I keep saying the race is tomorrow. It's actually this evening. I think today's Saturday.
I figure you went back in time and it's okay.
So I agree. I think I'm happy with Norris winning, and I think he will win. And I think he'll win by quite a margin. I think after the first lap, he will kind of develop his pace, and he'll be in front comfortably. I'm not sure. I agree. I think something is going to happen, right? But I just don't know who it affects. But I think it's between between the second place and fifth place. Something goes on between one of those cars. Whether it's at the start, I don't know, but something will go on. I think Russell is going to get ahead.
Okay.
And I think that's the thing. I don't know. I think we'll end up with Norris and a Ferrari and Russell on the podium. What Ferrari that will be, I don't know.
You don't know. Brave call.
Know. Yeah.
Really? I like that. Where do you think Max finishes?
I think Max will end in fourth, if not DNF. I'm sorry.
Can I say something? I had Max down for a DNF as well.
Max is going to be aggressive. He needs to be aggressive. And I don't think that will bode well, just because there's Russell in front, who has, forgive my language, but he's taken shit from him before. And I think he's now developed that mindset that I'm not going to let you bully me on the track. Yes. So yeah, I think Piastri will, he'll end somewhere as well around, sixth or fifth. I think we do need to look out for Carlos Sainz. He was seventh. He qualified seventh, but he's down in 12th. But if you look at who's ahead of him,
5-place penalty. Yeah.
If you look at who's ahead of him, Ocon, Behrman, Tsunoda, no offense, he's got quite a few rookies ahead of him. So I think he will gain places, right?
And his car is genuinely fast on pace. His car is genuinely fast.
He has been fast. This weekend, especially, right? So, I mean, I don't think he's making it to top 3, but he will be somewhere in that middle belt. Yeah, so I'm hoping that it stays as is. First 3 stay as is. But I think Russell and Verstappen will try and ruffle that up. Potentially resulting in a safety car, and then we see. It's strange that as we're speaking about this, we're not really mentioning Piastri, who's the championship driver, right? And I think that really says a lot.
No, I don't think he's gonna. He might end up on the podium if there's an incident in front of him, but honestly, I think Oscar gets stuck fighting. I see a 3-way battle during this race. I see Oscar, Max, and Russell just beating each other up throughout the race. With Kimi may or may not be in there, but I honestly think that the first 4 guys will scramble it, will run off into the distance.
Let me put a plea, Mercedes, if you see this podcast, sacrifice. I give you permission to sacrifice Kimi. I love Kimi, and he's one of the best rookies for me. But in this fight, the best thing Mercedes can do is sacrifice Kimi to disrupt, whether it's Piastri or behind him, whether it's Verstappen in front of him. Those are your markers. Make a dent. That's all I can say.
I agree. So, predictions. We're both going for Lando. And we both agree that there will be a Ferrari on the podium. I think Max, I think Lewis is second, but I cannot be too sure. But yeah, so we both agreed. We're agreed though. That's not right.
It's not right, right? It's not right. I want the Grand Prix to prove me wrong. Let's start and let's see something else, right? As long as Hamilton is on the podium, God, please just do it for us.
So you want your boys on the podium. You want Lando to win, and you want Lewis on the podium as well.
Yeah, and they deserve it. Come on, I think they deserve it. And I think all weekend as well. Well, P3, we saw I think all weekend. I think the Ferraris have shown pace, right?
I agree.
Well, they've been fast. Whether they have pace in the race tomorrow is something else. But they've been fast.
They've been fast, and I think their long run. They've been fast all weekend. I think their race pace is pretty good. You know, it
Yeah,
tends to be normally with Ferrari that they're slow in qualifying, and
yeah.
they get faster during the race. I think they genuinely have pace, and you know, normally you will find Charles a few places ahead of Lewis. The fact that they're both this close, shows you that there's genuine pace in the car. It's not Charles that's making the difference. It's the car now. The car is genuinely fast. And what I'm also looking forward to, you know, I complain about F1 being boring because there's no overtaking. I'm looking forward to some decent racing, some competitive racing. You know, I had my share of. I mean, I had my fill this morning. I watched. I was up early to watch MotoGP race in Malaysia this morning. There
I
wasn't a
need
lot
to
of
get
overtaking,
their
but it was
lineup.
exciting.
I need to
Oh
get their
yeah,
lineup. I think I'm
I'll
gonna
send you.
follow them. Yes, please, and I will
Yeah,
follow them on
download the
Instagram.
app. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. I'll send you names of a few of the main drivers.
okay.
That satisfies my need for speed. Honestly, the riders is a lot more exciting. It's a lot more overtaking. But I'm praying, I'm knocking wood, and praying that Mexico delivers on the overtaking. But here we are. Any final words?
But
Yes, everyone. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching it and you haven't subscribed, we're pleading with you. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the bell notification so that you can get a notification whenever we post a video. Please leave us a comment. Please tell us what you think about the race. What are your predictions? Please talk to us. Let us know what you think about the show, about our format. If you want to join us on the show, please, by all means, we welcome everyone, whether you're knowledgeable or you're just come and talk to us, please. We'd like to hear from you. And if you want to send us an email, we are thefastlanepod@gmail.com. Our socials are the Fastlane Pod, where we'll be on Instagram, Twitter X. See, I always call it Twitter X, right? Because I'm an old man. But yeah. Anyway, yes, Timmy, you were going to say something. You were saying something.
I cannot remember, but please like, subscribe, follow, all of those actions. Leave comments. I think we've got about what time's the race today? Is it 9 or 10?
It's 9 p.m.
9 p.m. So a couple of hours to the race. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. If it's that exciting, you might see us back here again.
I think we'll be back here.
I will wake Olawunmi up. I like how you changed your name to Olawunmi is excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're both excited. I hope you guys are too.
We're excited. And we want to say thank you very much for watching us. Thank you for watching us on this show today. Gracias. Mucho gracias. Thank you for watching this show, and we'll see you later.
See you.
Hasta la vista. Thank you. Bye, Temi. See you later.
See you. See you after the race.
Bye.